Let me tell you a story, not of gold medals or world records, but of grit, heart, and a promise that echoed across a stadium and through time. It begins in a quiet village in the central hills of Sri Lanka, back when the island was still known as Ceylon. The roads were dusty, the hills were green, and the skies seemed impossibly wide. There, in a humble home, a boy named Ranatunge Karunananda was born on the 21st of May, 1936. As a child, he ran not for sport or spectacle, but simply for the love of it. He chased birds through paddy fields. He raced the wind across rocky trails. He ran after dreams that he couldn't name yet. He had no fancy shoes, no stopwatch, just bare feet, wild energy, and a rhythm in his soul that matched the heartbeat of his homeland. He grew up modestly, attending a local school. His teachers saw a quiet determination in him, a sense that he would one day do something meaningful. But it was one coach, Tommy Arthur, who saw something else. Raw, unfiltered talent. Under Arthur's guidance, Ranatunge began training more seriously. He wasn't the fastest, not yet, but he was relentless. He'd run until the soles of his feet bled, then tape them up and run some more. Soon he was breaking national records, 5,000 meters in under 15 minutes, then the 10,000. His name was widespread with awe across training fields and track clubs. He wasn't just a village boy anymore. He was Sri Lanka's rising star. But Ranatunge wasn't just a runner. He was also a soldier. He joined the Ceylon Army's Engineers Regiment in 1961. He balanced military life with his athletic dreams, training between drills, sprinting after sunset, running with the same discipline he brought to every aspect of his life. Fellow soldiers admired his commitment. He was never boastful, never proud, just focused, just determined. And then, in 1964, the impossible happened. Ranatunge was chosen to represent Sri Lanka at the Tokyo Summer Olympics. He was the only track athlete selected. For a country still finding its place in the world, this was history. He would carry not just the flag, but the dreams of a nation. But just days before the flight to Japan, he fell ill. A stubborn cold turned into a deep chest infection. Breathing became painful. He coughed constantly. Doctors warned him against running. Friends urged him to stay behind. But Ranatunge made a promise, a quiet one, to someone very dear to him. You see, just weeks before, he had become a father. Holding his newborn daughter in his arms, he whispered, "Daddy will run in the Olympics. He will finish this race." And so he did what fathers do when promises are made. He got on that plane. Tokyo was electric. The Olympic Stadium sparkled under the lights. Nearly 80,000 spectators packed into their seats. The world's best had gathered. Among them were giants, Billy Mills of the United States, the legendary Ron Clark of Australia, Japan's Kokichi Tsuburaya, and then in lane number 67, Ranatunge Karunananda of Ceylon. The 10,000 meters event, 25 laps of agony, strategy, and stamina. The starter's gun echoed. and the runners took off like bullets. For the first lap, Ranatunga stayed with them, but by the third, he began to slow. His lungs burned, his legs ached, the illness clawed at his chest. One by one, the others pulled ahead. They had lapped him. Once, twice. By the 20th lap, the leaders were sprinting their final lap, while Ranatunga still had 5 more to go. People in the crowd laughed. Some pointed. A few reporters shook their heads. Why is he still running? They wondered. Isn't it embarrassing? But Ranatunga had come with a promise in his heart. He wasn't here to win. He was here to finish. And so he kept going. One painful lap at a time. At first, the crowd jeered, but something strange began to happen. One child stood and clapped. Then another. The mocking laughter turned to polite applause, then thunder. By his final lap, the stadium had transformed. Nearly 80,000 people rose to their feet, cheering, clapping, shouting his name. He crossed the finish line, last, alone, but to a standing ovation. That day, Ranatunga didn't win a medal, but he won something far more enduring, the admiration of a nation, not of his own. Japanese newspapers called him the courageous loser. Children wrote letters to him. A young woman mailed him a doll with a note. I cried when I saw you run. You showed us the true spirit of the Olympics. He became a symbol. In Japan, his story was immortalized. Textbooks told the tale of uniform number 67. Generations of students learnt about the Sri Lankan who kept running when the race was long over. Years later, when asked why he didn't quit, Ranatunga gave a simple answer. The Olympic spirit is not to win, but to take part. I came, I took part, and I finished. And then the world moved on. Back in Sri Lanka, there was no parade, no media frenzy, no statue. He returned to his army post, continued his training, and carried on quietly. In 1974, only 10 years after that unforgettable race, tragedy struck. Ranatunga drowned in Namaloya, a remote reservoir in the east of Sri Lanka. He was just 38 years old. Japan sent divers to help recover his body. They even offered scholarships to his children, but his own country forgot. His wife, shattered by grief, fell into depression. His children grew up hearing stories about a race their father had run and a promise he had kept. His daughter, Nelum, carried that promise in her heart. Years later, his granddaughter Oshadi moved to Japan. She found herself working in elder care, far from home. There were days she wanted to give up, when the loneliness and challenges were too much. But then she remembered her grandfather, alone in a stadium, running laps when no one else did, and she kept going. She started and she finished, just like him. This isn't just a story about one man, it's a mirror. We all have races we started but never finished. Goals we abandoned, dreams we delayed, promises we made to ourselves or to someone we love and quietly broke. But it's not too late. Tie your shoes, lace up your courage, take one more lap. Because the greatest victories in life aren't always about being first. They are about not giving up. When no one cheers, when everyone else has stopped, when the track is empty, that is when it matters the most. So run your race, keep your promise, finish what you started. Not for medals, not for applause, but for something greater, for legacy, for love, for the power of a heart that simply refuses to quit, just like Ranatunge Karunananda, Sri Lanka's greatest runner, who lost the race but won the world.